Hello, Emma.
Hiya. I'm sorry for keeping you all waiting. For some reason, it went on a massive verification thing. I've tried to log in today. Select 6,000 different pictures with cars and traffic lights and bicycles and goodness knows what else in them.
Oh, we all hate those.
Oh, I really do hate them. How are you doing today, Keith?
I'm okay. Two of my team have just done their first benchmark reports.
Taking action already after masterclass.
Yeah, well, the idea is that everyone does one at least by the end of this week.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And
The
how's
only-
everybody else today? Okay, some of you not even coming on.
Good. Yeah, very well. Thank you.
Hiding from me. Okay. People still coming in. So those of you that came to masterclass, how are we doing? Hi, Andy. Have we recovered? Or are we like going, oh my goodness, too many things to think about? Put some comments in the chat. Oh, nice. Hello. All good. That's brilliant. Yeah. Masterclass and the vaccination at the same time, Andy. Oh, that's a bit of a challenge. Yeah. Well, I didn't do too bad with mine, so I think I've cracked everything okay. Right, still coming. Right, we'll just have one last 30 seconds and then we'll start. And now you've all got loads to do, loads to say. Oh, Neil's raring to go. I've had a good chat with him this morning. Now he knows I'm nagging him to death. That's good. And for those of you that I think, there's a few of you that have only just joined as well, so that's lovely. Oh, did you see that? Libby's put, before we start, if you haven't called HMRC already today, they're having system issues, so delays on all phone lines. What a surprise. Oh my goodness, Chris. Masterclass was brilliant. Going back to work on the Thursday afterwards was like that first day back after a week at a health bar.
That's how it felt.
Wow.
Thursday was horrible. It felt like we'd been on 2-day health farm drinking cucumber smoothies and doing yoga and things with Kerry, and then you get back into work on Thursday and you realise, as Shane was fond of saying, over the same different day. So
wasn't Kerry fabulous?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, absolutely amazing to have Kerry make us get up and do things, because it's so tough being stuck in front of a screen all day. She was brilliant, just changing the energy a bit. And there were a couple of times where I must admit I was seizing up in my shoulder, because when I wasn't presenting, I was managing the software and the chat box and everything, and sat in front of the computer, and at times when my shoulder had seized up, and then she'd come and go, oh, everybody, let's do this triangle circle. I was like flipping it. It was perfect. Okay, so still people coming in. Wow. Right, so I'm going to start, and if you see me looking off to the side, that's just because I put the chat box and the onto the left so that I can just follow your chat separately. Okay, so today, 3 things that I said I'd deliver: better use of your time, some stuff on pricing, and how to deliver business growth in a leverageable, structured and paid for way. So let's start with the first thing. So it came to my attention, one of the things about this session is me sharing stuff that's already in System Builder, to be honest. But I've added a bit too. So it came to my attention there was an action resource in System Builder already there. How to free up time to work on the things that you really want to. I've added a few things to it, so I'm just going to share my screen screen. Let's see all the chaos on my sheet screen. And we'll just make this bigger. So this is in System Builder, okay? So literally, you know, just go in and type in the word time or whatever else you want to do to free up. There's loads of stuff in here. This was actually a resource that we created a little while ago, but it's as valid as it's ever been. And I've added some things on some of the things we've learned in the last 12 months, to be honest. I think it's a resource you need to share with your team, and make sure about how things you can do. But the first thing, the really important thing, which I added actually onto this session recently, was you have to accept that you can't do everything. And I know this is really hard for all of us. We all feel like we should be doing everything. We should be in control of everything. We should manage to do everything on our to-do list. But you can't. It's just not enough hours of the day. And most of the time when we look at our to-do list, you know, it's things that actually, when we look at it clearly, there are ways that we can perhaps adjust that list. So the second point is really useful for this. It must be something that was shared with me as part of AVN, and at one point, as you can see, we had it on laminated sheets, and we had to have it. They were stuck to our desk because it's really important, because we all feel overwhelmed with work, to actually work out: are we the right person to be doing this? Is there a better, you know, is there a better way? Because you have to do the things that only you can do. You know this. You know this, and often we don't. We pick up lots of other people's work. So, just looking at these questions, first of all, how critical is it that this task is done? And I must admit, when I look at my to-do list, I have a lot of nice ideas or things I'd love to do in the future. When I look at it properly and I think, do I need to do it now? And in particular, will it help people now? So when I look at my to-do list, I'm thinking, right, is that going to help a member? Is that going to help a member of my team? Is that going to help me? Is it critical that I do it is the issue? Or actually could, you know, and then the next question, how important is it? Because again, that critical can be firefighting, can't it? Do you remember in masterclass, Shane talked about the urgent and important, and then the things that are often they're the things that sort of race into mind, but actually it's really the important stuff that needs focusing on that may not be urgent, and making sure you've ght time for that. So then if it's not me who can do it, who is the best person to do it? And we've talked about outsourcing a lot recently, and we always think about outsourcing compliance, you know, the bookkeeping, the payroll, the accounts, so many other things. Most of you now looking at outsourcing perhaps some phone, you know, answering the phone, perhaps managing your diaries, perhaps getting a virtual assistant, perhaps outsourcing some of your marketing. Think about who else can help. And at this point, with the best person as well, think about the strengths in your team. So, you know, a reminder at masterclass, we talked about thinking about profiling, but what are people best at? You know, and it might be that you've got all the right people, but they might not be in the right places in the business. There's that lovely book, isn't it, about, you know, getting the right people on the bus, but they've also got to be in the right seats. So it's about that. But think about that and not think, oh, they're too busy. Just who is the best person to do this? And then is there a step-by-step system or a training video? Okay, so is it something that's going to be repeated? Just use Loom or Zoom or anything to just create a little video. Because we can share screens like I am, you know, even with software, we can just record what we're doing and talk over it. And it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. I've done some for the practice growth experts about how to, you know, show you some of the tools or how to use Coach Accountable better. It's a very quick way of them getting the gist of stuff and being able to see hands-on how it works. And some people like that. So do that way. And then what is the fastest way to do this task or create the system? So don't just rush into it, but actually what is the best way to do it? Are we doing things because we've always done it this way, or actually should we be thinking about doing it differently? And the same with the system, you know, and that's I think that often, if you can just stop for a minute and think about that, sometimes we think, well, why are we doing it in the first place? you know, and there's a lot of stuff that we do behind the scenes that the client doesn't appreciate. So if it's important that we do it, they need to know that we're doing it to appreciate it. If actually it's something that we do for our own peace of mind, okay, is that really important or not? How important is it? Does it really make you feel great or not? Think about it. So just stuff like that. So this is I think it's a really nice sort of stuff, and to give to your whole team to just say, okay, you're all saying you're overworked, you're all saying you're stressed. Think about everything you do. And it might be that, you know, I often say to members, you know, the what I actually do diary, which is in the clarity workbook, get your team to fill it in. And then when they look at that, and that's about interruptions, but then do a similar thing with their tasks. What are they doing day to day and how critical is it? Perhaps use this. So it's a really great way of eliminating jobs you shouldn't be doing. And it's important to keep coming back to it regularly, which is why we used to have it, like I said, stuck on the wall behind our screens or in front of us on our desk or wherever it was that we would have a look at it. The third thing, and you all know this, it's about making time in your diary, blocking out time so that you don't get disturbed, okay? And if it's important stuff like working on your own business, try and do it somewhere else. I know we're all working from home now, but even then, you perhaps want to go into a different space, to be in a different headspace. Go and sit here. I don't know what it's like weather-wise with you. It's not too bad here. You know, perhaps go and sit out in the garden, do it, or maybe, you know, find somewhere that you can go and have a think. Maybe go for a walk and just verbalize the important stuff you need to do for your business into your phone, but block out the time. One of the good things about it is actually to just spend 15 or 30 minutes thinking about your business before you even open emails in the morning. You know, identify the 3 things, or I've got 3 to 7 goals for the year, and judge everything you do on whether or not you're moving closer or further away from the goals. And if there's things that are coming up in your to-do list that are not helping you move towards those goals, delegate them to somebody else or stop doing it. Okay? It's really easy to get distracted by things that you think would be quite a good idea, but actually it could be really causing you a lot of pain moving forward. Got a funny flag on my system. Is there anybody got a question while I'm? No? Okay. I've put here about you join the Facebook group, okay, and come to the events, because actually talking to other members, getting that support, you know, creating your own little groups of that nag and control each other. It's not just me that should hold you accountable. If you've got other people, it's like, you know, when you take up running, if you have a running partner, you're more likely to do it than if you just want to do it on your own, or if you've got some way of recording it and somebody helps you track that. You know, in January, we all had a steps count we had to do, and every Monday, Victoria was on us going, how many steps did you do last week? How many steps did you do last week? That keeps us going. And sometimes the members can be very supportive in helping you, but also, you know, you can buddy up, help each other out. Think about the team members who can start taking on some of your tasks. If you want to do more of the business growth work, you've got to release some of the other work you do. So you need to mentor those team members and think about that. Think about actually when you get to do focus, we've talked about this before, what is your most productive time of the day, and use that to work on your business and then do other work. We've already talked before about virtual assistants. This one again about tasks. So this was somebody else's idea. They put their tasks in 4 columns. So tasks that only you can do because of your expertise, your authority, or because of confidentiality. Tasks that you want to retain, and it's effective for you to do so. So, you know, if you love doing something, why not carry on doing it? As long as it's profitable and it's effective for you to do so, carry on. It has to be delegated, contracted out, systemized, or otherwise removed, and then the deadline for removal of those tasks. That's a really good thing to do as well in your team, and particularly for you as well, to just think about, okay, think about how we're doing stuff. I've got another firm did a similar thing with coloured cards. So they had green cards for things that only they could do, and the other ones, A's. They had B ones, the B ones were orange. So they could systemize, and they should, but they still wanted to keep them. C ones were red, delegate to somebody else, and every day they would take the C cards and they would work out how they would delegate them to. The aim was to have no of the C cards, the red ones, left on your desk. So they got the whole team to do that, which is a really nice, again, visual way for people to do stuff. Talked about answering the phone and making sure that you perhaps use an online booking system and educate your clients so that you can speak to them when you want to. We've also talked about emails in the past as well, and please turn off your email pingers. Make sure that you just have some plans and you have an out of office saying, I only check them at certain times. There are lots of different strategies. And again, there's a great BBF on how to find the time to do the really important things. That might be something that you want to go and watch the video of that, listen to, see how you feel about it. We also talk about, don't we? We talk about grading your clients, and we talk about doing an 80-20 analysis on your customers and identify the customers that deserve your time and effort. And Neil, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but actually there's, there are, when you look at that, sometimes actually getting rid of a chunk of clients, or perhaps losing some through no fault of your own, through COVID and everything else, actually it can be a very positive thing. As Neil mentioned to me this morning, that, actually he's got less clients, but higher profitability. And he's getting paid, all of them, by direct debit. So cash flow is better than it ever was. And his seats are right. So that's a great thing to think about. So sometimes we need to make that step and perhaps think about, okay, my A clients, my B clients need my time. The C clients, D clients, you're going to have to park, or maybe you have to leave. And the same with the services as well, because there are lots of things that we do that we put on our list of, here we are, we could deliver this stuff. But if they're not profitable to deliver, why are you doing it? So again, I was speaking to somebody the other day who'd gone through and realized that payroll was just certainly not profitable in their business. So they've outsourced it. And by outsourcing it and explaining to their clients, that's it, the pricing has been able to be adjusted. They've explained it, and it's now becoming a profitable service for them. So outsourcing is the one thing, or some things you just stop doing. What is the point? Meetings waste a huge amount of time. We, as much as we try, we are absolutely terrible at sticking to our timelines for meetings. In fact, we've started to actually physically book things, at the end time of meetings, so that we all end at the right time. And we've started having meetings sometimes late in the day, 4:30, so we finish at 5. We've actually made those decisions for certain meetings, because otherwise they just run and run and run. Particularly now when people are at remote working, that actually it's almost a way for them all to get back on. You come on Zoom and you have a chat. So find another way of them having the chat somewhere else, and then think about meetings. Are they necessary? Only invite the people who really need to be there, and make sure you have an agenda with the aim of the meeting clearly stated. This is where we fail a lot of the time. We don't say, this is what we're going to cover. This is what we need out of this meeting. If you've got 10 people giving up an hour, that's 10 hours of chargeable time disappeared from your business. So what's worth 10 hours of your time? Think about that. We need to make sure that every meeting there is an aim. We're going to deliver something from it, even if that's actually that, and one of the best ones is the one-page plan on your own business, because the aim is at the end of it, you'll have clear actions of how to improve those numbers. Okay, so you can't leave until those actions are there. Make sure you cover the important topics first. This is sometimes the problem with an agenda, is we stick to the same agenda every time. So, ours is, we have our action from last time, one-page plan, tasks for the next week, our giving, and sort of an AOB. We have a better way in a structure, so things. But sometimes the most important things are in a better way, because we need to change something internally in the business. But it's way, way down that list. So you need to think about, yes, we have an agenda, but it's not a running order, so to speak. It's more of, these are the topics we have to think, and you need to work out what are the most important topics and deal with them first, and keep a timeline on it. So don't let people talk about it for the whole length of the meeting. You say, right, so that the last one, set a time limit. So, right, we've got 5 minutes to make a decision on this. Set a clock, ticking in the background. Okay. Make sure you do designate someone to create an action list with a task, an owner, and a due date, so that you do have an outcome. And often meetings are really better stood up. When people sit down, there is a tendency, as you can see, to slouch a bit, and you have your cup of coffee and you lean back a bit. And there's those people who rock in their chairs that really annoy me, and things like that. And actually, what is standing up means they've got to stay focused, and they know that they're going to walk out at some point. I put procrastinate less because, and there's a great video which is on our YouTube channel, AVN Inspiring Accountants, and think about something like the Pomodoro technique, which is that 20 minutes, break down tasks into 20 minutes. So that even if it's something that you hate to do, if you just say, I'm just going to do this for 20 minutes and then I can leave it, you can get loads done in that 20 minutes. And often at the end of 20 minutes, you might think, do you know what, after I've had my short break, I'm just going to do another 20 minutes on it. So break down, particularly those tasks that you're really not looking forward to do, breaking down into small amounts. And think about your environment. We've talked about this before, making sure your workspace is laid out so that you can access everything you need easier. And I've put desks and drawers, but actually things like where you store your files. I have to admit that as much as I love Dropbox for storage, I hate how the people don't follow the system of where they should be storing things. And sometimes, although it's got a search engine, again, sometimes it can take you ages to find what you want. So being clear about where things are stored virtually, and also where they're stored on your desk or in the office, make that environment. So quick view of that one, so you can have a look at that, okay? It's a great tool, to just remind yourself and to talk about it with your team about how things should be moving forward. The second thing I wanted to talk about was about pricing. And so I'm just going to, if we can just system builder. Just going to do that. I'm just going to open System Builder. Now, if you do pricing, there is a huge amount of information in here, okay? And Michael Hebb at the Masterclass mentioned that we have this whole pricing program called the Effective Pricing for Accountants in here, which Mark Wickersham kindly created for us several years ago. And it's built into, it's all this different areas, and there's a whole toolkit around it. So if you do want to run it, again, if you do it from toolkit, you'll be able to find the Effective Pricing for Accountant toolkit, okay? And that will give you how to run through that whole process. But it is quite a lengthy process. There's a lot of things in here. And like I said, he wrote this for us several years ago. So, some things will probably need updating a little bit. But there's some really good fundamental stuff in here, and some videos, some workbooks, some audios, lots of things. What I wanted to point you to in particular, actually there's tons of stuff here, were actually Module 6 and Module 7. Okay, so Module 6 is about thinking about your pricing and the reality that people will pay different prices. I did mention this a little bit in Masterclass, but there's a really good video explaining that. And in the workbook as well, so just keep on open the workbook. There's some really useful stuff about how to work it out. So the fact that you need to think about how you can have different prices, and that magic of 3. So in Times Up, if you remember, we've got 5, 4, 3 star, allowing them that option. It's also really useful because it talks about ways you can use the contract renewal letters or different resources that you've got. And in particular, what I wanted to point out was the startups. Okay, so I know this isn't the ideal client for a lot of people, but I think over the last 12 months, and particularly when eventually furlough does stop, or reduces, because it's going to reduce to a point where some businesses can't afford to pay for it, there will be people starting in business. So this might be, again, a useful thing for you to have a look at, to help you think about what you can do to support startups. All sorts of documents in here, look. So there's a whole suite of us. I don't need to go through it all. The issue is here about finding the best price. Okay, then make sure you've got some equilibrium. And this was, I thought was quite interesting, because coming back to my earlier point about the fact that sometimes you can afford to lose clients and actually it doesn't make any difference. If you've got 3 clients paying £100 each, okay, and they've got a cost of £50 each, then you're making a profit of £150. Okay, but if you can up that price, but not increase the cost. So just, we talk about putting up the price, and 2 of them out of the 3 will pay 150. You're making a profit of £200. So I could afford to lose 1 client there quite easily and still make more money. But in this case, what if then I only had 1 client paying £200? I'd still make 150 profit, and I would only have 1 client instead of 3 to look after. Same profit. So rather than thinking just about income, 300, 300, 200, actually the profit for 1 client paying us £200 is exactly the same as 3 clients paying us £100. So actually think about that. It's a really interesting way of looking at it. So have a look at module 6. The other module I wanted you to look at, sorry, because I'm whizzing through, I need to show you this, is 7. And only particularly, again, because in the workbook for 7, there's some interesting ideas in here for you to think about. Again, if you want to look through the whole of it, please do, but it takes a lot of time. But this is about creating bundles. That was what I was interested in talking about you. So thinking about, what services do you want to deliver? What could we possibly do in addition to make that an even more valuable service? Okay, so thinking about that. And then when you've made created your master list of all the products and services you want to deliver, and thinking about them being profitable, from what I said earlier, how you create the bundles. Okay, and making sure then that their bundles, perhaps they don't have a huge amount extra, it's just that they have something that appears to be of value. Okay, so on this example here, which is basic one here, look, we've got for the tax return, we're going to supply tax return information checklist, we're going to calculate the tax liability and payments, we'll identify claims and release, we'll file the tax return, free unlimited advice, signposting, quarterly newsletter. That's my 3-star. The 5 one, which suddenly has a huge amount of extra ticks, unlimited meeting support, advice and consultations for family, checking your notice of coding, supplying a bound copy, some general tax health checks, check the statements from HMRC, send reminder letters, deal with correspondence, accept inquiries. Most of that is stuff we would do anyway. But it looks so much more valuable. And then the top level here is, look, that we'll help you with investigations, we'll do some IHT planning or an estimate, and we'll do a personal balance sheet. So they could be your 3 bundles. And when you look at them as a value concept for the 3 bundles, you can see that the jump from 3 to 4, which in a minute I'll explain some of the fee part, actually for you to deliver it isn't going to cost an awful lot more. Okay, so think about that. Think about how you can build that. And I always say to people as well, make that 4-star stuff that can be easily deliverable by the team as much as possible. Yeah, you don't want many people buying 5-star, because as partners, you're going to have to deliver some of this work. But the majority of the 4-star should be able to be delivered by the team. And again, there's some stuff here on pricing. So very quickly, I just wanted to say to you, there is a huge amount of stuff in there in pricing. Please, look at it. And if you've got any questions, please ask us. It's a great resource, this. Lots of stuff. But like I said, it was written several years ago, so there may be a few little things it talks about that you might feel, well, nowadays we do that slightly differently. But don't worry about that. That's not that important, is it? The other thing, again, just if you don't want to go through all of that and look at them all, there's a nice little action resource called the Magic Formula for Profitable Pricing. Okay, it's something you can use with your clients. So the action resource has the expert in a box, okay, which explains what we've done and how to use it. And then I think I probably went through this at masterclass as part of the when I did my pricing section, was that, you know, this is a process, a step-by-step process where you can help them connect the price you want to charge to the value you're delivering. Okay, so it's a really nice process that you can use. So when you think about it, if I just go back, the actual resource, this is an example, okay, then you can see how it works. But again, they're just some examples for you to have a look at. Think about how you can build that in your conversations when we talk about pricing. The last thing I want to talk about is about delivering the business growth stuff in a leverageable way. I think you've all spotted, haven't you? The government have put out this big thing about the fact that they're going to be helping businesses, and they're going to be giving grants funding. Sorry. They're going to be giving grant funding, and they're going to be helping people. They're going to deliver business training through their qualified business universities or whatever else that they're going to deliver. And there's a lot of stuff about it, but it's a bit vague online when you go and have a look. What it does say is it's only going to be open to 30,000 people, and that they're basically going to pay £750 for some training that people are going to have. That will be delivered, but it's not going to start to be delivered. Well, it's not even being released until September, and there's quite a lot of hoops to jump through. September to me seems a long way away for some of these businesses we're working with. We need to start working with them now. They've got issues now. They need that support. So what I'm recommending, what I'm suggesting is actually we start offering that business growth support now, but in a leverageable way. And the way I'm thinking that we could do that is by using the business builder forums. Okay, so I'm just going to minimize that for a second, and I'm just going to bring in the toolkit. So this is the toolkit that's in System Builder about business builder forums. Okay, now a business builder forum is a seminar or a workshop. Okay, it's designed to run for about 40 minutes. And what we've done is, these are presentations that either we've done or guest speakers have done. And that 40 minutes has a presentation, and then you have maybe 20 minutes Q&A or discussing or sharing challenges or whatever else. Excuse me. Every BBF, Business Builder Forum, comes with some marketing letters, an audio recording of it being delivered, a transcript of it being delivered, the slides, a PDF of the slides, so you can have them, and the handouts, any handouts that are going there. So they are very easy to deliver, okay? And you don't have to deliver them word for word, okay? You can look at the transcript and you can just highlight the key things. Now, these are obviously advisory tools, but what I'm thinking is that actually over the next few months, wouldn't it be great to engage a lot of your clients into paying for this as a sort of a growth plan over the next 6 months? So even before the September money's there, we've already started helping them. There is a huge library, I can just go on that page, there we go, of BBS. I've actually sorted them via subject areas because I wanted to have a look at them earlier. And I was trying to think about, you know, which could be the best ones to do, but then I got a bit carried away, as you can see, because I've highlighted the ones that I like. Obviously, I wouldn't do them in the order that they're highlighted here, but there are some fantastic ones here that I think would really resonate with business owners at the moment. You may pick other ones, that's your choice. I mean, like I said, they've all got that support, but there are some on service, I mean, for some people, being debt-free in 7 years would be really important. And I know there's a few of you that I've worked with that have used that on themselves. How to interpret the number in the account, so make it valuable. Some stuff on pricing. How to make it in business without losing it in life. Change when times are tough. All sorts of things. I've put designing a business that gets you the results you want. How to use benchmarking to become an industry leader. And then I've put some basic stuff, how to see the power of word of mouth advertising, grow your business with simple stuff that works, how to double and triple your productivity, and how to find the time to do the really important things. 3 simple A4 pages that can transform your profits, bank account, and life. They're things you've already got. Motivating a team. There's a fantastic presentation that Andy Bounds did for us called Winning That Pitch. And obviously Winners of Opportunity. So for all of your clients, you could the work that we're doing with you is this sort of stuff that you could be sharing with them. And I just thought it'd be really good if you could say, okay, we could run these virtually, so we can run them on Zoom. If I go back to System Builder, let me just go back into System Builder. There is actually a system about launching the Business Builder Club here. Again, I need to probably update it a little bit because if we do it virtually, it's going to be slightly different. Okay, but this explains how you need to do it. You can also share PowerPoints on Zoom, and it suggests some of the topics that we could do. But then obviously here it talks about a venue, but maybe it's about setting up a Zoom room and having a booking process. So again, this is just a paper booking process, but we could do it again through some of the tools you've got. What's interesting then is about actually getting people to come. So targeting your client list, or maybe even targeting some of your prospects, okay? But in this instance, what we've done is that, and again, I will probably update these and just have a look at them. I'll give you some other options, but we've actually said that we're limiting it to 20 people in the room because it's about learning from each other as business owners, as well as learning from us as accountants. And to give people time and the confidence to talk to each other and the space, then we'll limit it to 20. So then you get that that scarcity process, don't you? So you can do multiple 20 ones, groups of 20. But really what I like about this is obviously we're going to let them network as part of it. We're going to learn the secrets and success of each other. They're going to discover some practical solutions to problems, which is going to be in that presentation. They'll build up their own tools and resources, and they'll have an action plan. The idea is they go away from everyone with an action plan. Okay. So this is already ready to use that you could use as part of your marketing. You could send it out as an email. You could send it out via your CRM system. You could perhaps just do a little 1-minute video saying we're about to launch, our first BBF. Would you like the chance to become more successful and profitable? Click here to find out more. There are all sorts of things that support this, but if you can think about it, then we get people to pay, and maybe you say, well, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do, and again, you can choose how often you do them. We used to run them monthly, but depending on your client base or whatever, you might want to run them fortnightly. Doing them on Zoom, it's much easier to run them fortnightly than obviously if you've got a venue that you've got to sort out. And get people to pay to come. So even if you said it was something as simple as £20 a session to come, if they're valuable, people will turn up every month. I'm part of a business group outside of AVN. I pay £20 a month to go and join a group of, how many of us are there? 7 of us, different business owners. And we talk about all sorts of things. And it's actually one of the most valuable things that I do in a month, because I learn so much from them and I can share my learning with them too. So, if you could get 20 people in, paying £20 a month, £400 for you to spend an hour on Zoom with them, and maybe an hour or 2 preparing. And there might be people in your team that would love to it. So you could actually say, okay, different people deliver different subjects. So if somebody's really passionate about something, let them deliver it. If you've got somebody who's your benchmark champion, Get them to deliver the benchmark one. If you've got somebody who's your simple stuff at work champion, get them to deliver that. You know, this is the thing that actually got me out of my massive comfort zone, was BBS, because this is where I had to start thinking about preventing. But what's lovely is if you've already got the main content, you've already got, you know, the slides, you've already got, which again, you can customize, you know, you've got everything you need to do it. You just need to be able to sort of plan it. And I know that I deliver differently, so I can't read a transcript. I can't follow a linear thing. So I would read the transcript and I would make my own mind map of how I was going to say it. Okay. But as long as I know what the outcome is, what I want somebody to learn, it's easy enough to do. And if people are really interested in this, you know, we can have some sessions together where we, you know, try being on screen, talking about certain things. So to be honest, if, you know, like I said before, if I'd asked you a year ago to come on screen and talk to me, most of you would have had a bit of a moment. And gone, I'd just prefer to do it on the phone, please. But now we're so used to Zoom, we're so used to talking to each other virtually like this. Running an event is not a challenge. It really isn't. So I think this is a great way for us to actually start delivering some value and telling our clients not to wait till September. Invest in us now, because we can start making some difference. And if you think about that toolkit, I'll just minimize that again and see if I can find the toolkit again. There we go. Then, do you know, I'm pretty certain you could find one that would really excite people now, that you can engage people with, that you would feel happy delivering. There are lots and lots of them, as you can see. Okay. You know, I think there's over 70 now. So if you did one a month, you know, you've got 5 or 6 years worth of content there, if you wanted to. But what happens is we find that usually you find probably about 10 that you love delivering and that you really enjoy delivering, and you can deliver them multiple times. So this one, how to interpret your numbers and your accounts, when I was in practice, we must have delivered in the 3 years probably 4 or 5 times. On some of these, like, you know, productivity, for example, again, we often asked people at the end of, maybe run the first 2, and at the end of the second one, perhaps give people a choice of where they want to be, what we want the third one to cover, and the highest score wins. You know, do a poll and say, okay, these are the 3 things I'm thinking of talking about next time. The winner is the one I'll cover, and get them to vote. So it's very easy. We could do that quite simply. So I just thought I wanted to show you that, and to show you that there is an opportunity here. I really think it's a massive opportunity for us to be able to step in and start helping people now, no matter what their situation is. So access these advisory tools and start using them. I'm running an event on the 14th of April where I'll be looking at all the other advisory tools and just sitting down and just giving you an overview of how they work and how we can show them to people and how you can present them and get people interested in them. Because that's the key, isn't it? It's how do we explain to somebody how valuable this is to them and how they could use it. So I'll be doing that on the 14th of April as a proper event. Unfortunately, still on Zoom at that point. Has anybody got any questions? Can I put them into chat, or you can unmute yourself, I don't mind.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Michael.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
All the business builder, and
Forum, yeah.
sounds great, yeah. And it'd be good to introduce that to businesses before September in the UK, and I'm in Ireland. It'd be the similar thing. Yeah. But explaining to clients is the thing, isn't it? So, is it possible all these advisory services? Like, I think I was on to you before. Is it possible to get a kind of a high level brochure that lists them all, so that they and send it to a client and talk them through it and say, look, I can provide all these advisory services to you. Which one would you like, you know, or which would benefit your business most? And, you know, like, because my clients, I would have had clients that I only did compliance with. So I'm
Right.
looking to bring him from the compliance side to the advisory side.
Yep.
Show them that I know through AVN and all these great tools I can provide these services. But it's just a way of communicating at a kind of a high level, like a brochure. Like I can put my logo on it and say, right, look, this is what I do. What are you interested in? Yeah.
There are several different documents inside System Builder that can help. It depends how you want to focus on it, because the very top level of the consulting work that we do is a product called Making It Happen.
Making it happen.
And that's a 12-month intensive support program for your client. Now, if you type Making It Happen in System Builder or MIH, okay, you'll get a document that explains what that is. And it also explains then what the next levels down are. So Making It Happen is like the 12-month intensive support. Then it goes down to what we call Business Edge. Business Edge is like 6 half days. And then below that is Business Builder Forum. So that's, and so it goes from the intensity of you being one-to-one for 12 months at the top, Making It Happen, to just 6 sessions, one-to-one in the middle, Business Edge, or to have a group session, which is obviously a lot cheaper, which is the Business Builder Forum.
Yeah, but is there like a menu that lists them all, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll send the link to that. Yeah, that's not a problem. In fact, I'll find it and put it in, send it out to everybody.
Great, yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
So there's that. And then obviously the next thing is to look at is the performance measuring improvement system.
Which is the 1-page profit report, is it?
It has all of those, yeah. So it's the numbers folder. It's this one, if you remember, that I showed you.
That's right.
So this is about the structure of helping people just look at the numbers. So if they're not quite ready for the full business development stuff, then actually, if you just want to help them focus on improving the numbers, then use the performance measuring improvement system as the what's the word I'm after?
What kind of ease them in?
Yeah, well, as a sort of the thing that everything fits on, so to speak. And again, there's a resource and system builder explaining how that works. So I will get everybody that link.
Great, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Michael, I would be wary of sending them everything in one hit from Emma's spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I'm putting together a e-brochure which said, "Did you know?" And then it's going to say, "We also, on top of the normal compliance service, we can also help you with," and then broad headings. If you hit them with everything, they're just going to be snowblind and won't know what to go for. So pick a few that you think will suit most of your clients and try it on them that way.
Yeah, that sounds very good. Yeah, like kind of just ease them in.
Yeah, I think the issue
Not
is
overwhelm them, you know.
Yeah, I think the issue as well is positioning, isn't it? If they've only ever seen you as a compliance accountant, and now you're saying, "No, I want to be a business growth advisor," you've got this change in the positioning of the way they see you, and so it's not something that they change overnight. You need to sort of drip feed ideas. You can show them the sort of, this is what we're aiming for, but here are our first steps. So and I always find that the numbers folder is like the first step, because it's something they feel comfortable with. Yes, you understand numbers. And then if you're using the PMI folder, you start talking about goals, and you start talking about benchmarking, and you start talking about key performance indicators, and you start talking about improvement. And then you can go on to simple stuff that works, which talks about obviously sales drivers. And that starts moving then into advisory.
Yes.
So as they start seeing that you're becoming more and more of an advisor, then when you start saying to people, "Well, how about doing the business edge session with me?" or they're Making It Happen, they are going, "Okay, this person has already proved to me that they can do this stuff. They know this stuff." But the business builder form is a nice way of just showing lots of people that you've got this width of knowledge about how to run a business from lots of different areas. That's where that works. It's a sort of we used to use it a lot with we would run them where we would have 50% of the room would be clients and 50% would be prospects. So then what we'd do is we would cover the subject, and then once we'd done the sort of the show bit, we would then get them all together and we would ask them questions, and they would all have to share. And so often your prospects are then selling you, sorry, your clients are selling you to the prospects because they're saying, oh yeah, Michael's already been looking at that with me and doing stuff with that. So the prospects get interested, but also because they're all business owners, they're all learning from each other. So whether they join or not as clients, they're getting some value and they're paying you to be at the event, even if it's only a small amount. And we converted a lot of, we got a lot of business advisory work from the BBS, and people who actually went for the Making It Happen program came from having 6 months with us on the BBF, where they could see that we knew what we were talking about. And then when we talked about delivering a sort of high intensive support process, they were like, yeah, fine. And we didn't, and at that point, for a few of them, we hadn't even got their accounts. They just wanted to do advisory work with us, and then the accounts came later because you need the numbers.
Yes.
And often their numbers aren't good enough.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's a funnel to different work, I guess. But I think Simon's right that you've got to sort of do steps in a way. This is what we now, you can say we've joined AVN and we now got access to all this stuff. I've been going through all this training to be able to deliver it, but I want to prove that to you. So I'm going to run these business builder forums. I've been told I should be charging £120 a session. But you know, you don't know whether I can do this. So £20 a session. The first few are £20, £40, whatever, because I want to show you that I know my stuff.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, sounds good. It's just to ease them in, isn't it? And get kind of show them the results they could get.
Yeah, and I think at the moment as well, we need to say to people, you can't sit there and wait for September.
Yeah.
Most of you, when you look at your cash flows and you look at your issues and you look at what the changes to furlough that's going to happen, because it's going to reduce, isn't it, quite drastically at certain points. You've got to be thinking, how am I going to get my business moving?
Yeah. Be proactive.
Yeah, they've got to. Yeah. Or they'll lose it.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
No? Okay. So if you have any questions or you have any thoughts after this, please email me. It's just emma.slack@avn.co.uk, or you can just send it to members and they'll pass it on. What I'll do is in the What's New email that goes out next week, I will put all the links that we just talked about. But if you haven't picked up the links to things I'm showing you, go to the toolkits. So in System Builder, just type in the word toolkit and you'll find the Effective Pricing for Accountants toolkit. You'll find a pricing toolkit, which is about Time's Up, and you'll find the BBF toolkit that I've mentioned today. And they link to all those resources that I've pointed you to. Okay. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's been lovely having you on board again today. Hopefully I'll see some of you on Thursday. All right. You take care, everybody.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Emma. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.